Welcome to the Ian McNaughton Show. My name is Ian McNaughton. Thank you for joining us today. We got a great show on tap for you. But before we get started, I just want to mention, if you haven't already, check out speakyourpiece.ca. That's our new website. That's where I'm doing most of my blogging and writing right now. I'll share a link in the description below, and you guys can go check it out. So see what you think. This past weekend, I wrote about the Six Nations Championship with Wales beating Scotland, England beating Italy, France holding on against Ireland. That was the last post I wrote about. I wrote about it yesterday, Sunday. Go take a look. Go check it out if you haven't already. Good read. This website, it's going to be updated, and it's going to be much better than our old website just because of the content and the SEO and all that sort of stuff. So go take a look. Go check it out. This show is usually about rugby on Mondays, and it's not this week because I wrote about it. I blogged about it. Go read the blog if you're interested in rugby. Today's show is going to be about racing. We got the Daytona 500 recap that we're going to do. We're going to be talking some news around F1. I'm hoping when we get into more like in the harder racing season, like the late spring, summer, that I can get one of my friends on Tuesdays and we can discuss some F1 and all that sort of stuff. We'll see. Nothing's confirmed yet, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for. So with that being said, let's get into today's show. First, we have to start with the Daytona 500. Michael McDowell wins his first career race, and it happens to be at Daytona. It was his 358th Cup race of his career, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This is his 14th season racing at the Cup Series. So, I mean, much deserved win for Michael McDowell. I remember him being a back marker for many years with like HP Racing, Phil Parsons Racing, Levine family racing around like 2012, 2015. Like he was like the 40th place guy. He was in the back for most of those races, like for many years. And now he finally got a Daytona 500 championship to his name. I think it was Fox who posted after the race that McDowell was the 8th driver to have their first career win be the Daytona 500, 8th or 9th career driver, which is quite an accomplishment. Congrats to him. I'm glad he got the win. It's been, it's been coming for Michael McDowell. He was sitting third on the final lap, heading into turn 3. He gave Brad Keselowski, who was in second, a bump right before going into the turn. It sent Keselowski forward, and he crashed into Kyle Busch, and then everything just happened then. So then the caution came out. When the caution came out, McDowell was in first place. He was in first place by the time they passed the checkered flag at the finish line. So McDowell got first place. In the crash that happened that led to McDowell getting first place, Keselowski was taken out, Kyle Busch was taken out, Kyle Larson was taken out, Bubba Wallace was taken out, Austin Cindric taken out, Joey Logano, among others, who all wrecked in that crash, which was really too bad because Cindric looked like he was in contention near the end. I think he was running maybe 5th or 6th. Him and Cole Custer were pretty close to one another. Bubba Wallace was a bit far back. I think they were expecting maybe Wallace and Hamlin to go for a run, and they never had it happen. And then Logano was in the top 5 as well. And just scary scenes, though. I posted on the Speak Your Piece Instagram. If you aren't following it, go take a look at Speak Your Piece, where I believe it was Keselowski's car that caught on fire and it lost its rear bumper up on the wall, which was really scary. Everybody's okay. Everybody's fine. Everybody's safe. It was just a really scary crash on the final lap. And of course, I think this was 21 years since the Dale Earnhardt Jr. accident, of course, where Dale Earnhardt crashed into the wall. I want to say this was turn 4 at Daytona, and eventually he eventually died. Fortunately, NASCAR has improved its safety measures since then, but it's still always scary when you see a car on fire or multiple car crashes. Like skipping over to F1, like when Roman Grosjean crashed in Bahrain, in December, it was a little sketchy. It was a little scary. So, and this was the second big crash of the race, following the big one on lap 14 before the rain delay, where the rain delay lasted about 5 hours, which then I got my rugby post out. So it wasn't all bad, but before that rain delay, the second big crash, the first big crash of the race with Newman, Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Alex Bowman, all those guys were taken out. Tough finish for Ryan Newman, who had high expectations coming into this race. And I can't remember how many cars were running by the time they got back on. I want to say about 20, 25 cars, I think, were running by the time we got back after the rain delay. Denny Hamlin led a race high 98 laps. He fell back in the pack in stage 3 near the end. He didn't have a partner or any partners when he was leaving pit road, which cost him valuable time and speed since he couldn't bump draft anybody. So in case you don't know how it works, basically you just bump draft, you just drive behind somebody and then you kind of slingshot, or it helps build up speed so you don't have to go through the person in front of you can clear the way for you. They can create, the space for you, if that makes sense. So it helps with speed and time. And Hamlin was just hung out to dry when like 8 cars passed him coming out of pit lane, and kind of on the flying lap as well. So, and tough tough race for Denny Hamlin, because I think many people thought he was going to win. He had a really good car. It just the pit strategy. He just got unlucky and unfortunate with the pit strategy in stage 3, and that's why he might have finished in the top 5, but definitely top 10 he finished. And really, I have to give kudos to NASCAR all around for putting on a great week of racing, with the Busch Clash last Monday, the duels on Thursday, the truck race, Xfinity, the Cup Series. It's been a wonderful week of racing, just all around. A great week to watch NASCAR, and all the drivers seem to be invigorated and ready to race and excited to race. It was a long off season, especially during a pandemic, where you just want to get back to normal. And I don't know how many people were at Daytona, but yeah, it was just an awesome week to watch NASCAR. And it really feels like that they've made an effort to improve their sport and attract new fans, whether it's through, marketing of drivers like Bubba Wallace, who's now with the Michael Jordan team, Daniel Suarez, who's I believe the only Latino driver on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit, or even, they're doing new races on different courses. I believe March 28th is when they're doing the dirt race at Bristol, and I've never seen a dirt race in the Cup Series. Maybe the Truck Series, I think, was the last time I've seen a dirt race at the highest levels of NASCAR. So I'm really excited for that. Like, I'm going to tune in and watch the dirt race at Bristol, because it's going to be really fucking awesome to watch. And then next week, of course, too, they're doing the road course at Daytona, which they did at the Busch Clash on Monday. So essentially they're doing a 14-turn infield race at the Daytona road course. So that's going to be really exciting to watch. And NASCAR, this isn't a NASCAR thing. This is a Fox thing, because Fox broadcast the NASCAR races, but their commentary was so good last night, with Mike Joy calling a race, Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer obviously doing a really great job commentating the race. Both personable, both energetic, both easy to listen to, and that's not even including like Regan Smith, former NASCAR driver, who credit to him, he's taken a nice role as kind of an infield analyst or a pit analyst, transcribing what's going on between the pits with the different teams, which is really cool. Larry McReynolds, I can't remember. What's her Little? I can't remember. I have to search up what her name was. The female commentator who does a really excellent job is Jamie Little. She does a wonderful job commentating the races as well, doing the same thing sort of that Regan Smith is doing. kudos to everybody for making this past week awesome to watch NASCAR. And hopefully we get more weeks like this. Hopefully we get more exciting races like this, because I think that's what the fans want. And I think that's how you get new people interested. NASCAR knows its demographics. I think they know that they're going to have hardcore racing fans watching them every week. But now you're becoming this, cool niche sport, which probably isn't going to be generating the biggest viewers, the biggest ratings, but it's fun to watch. It's entertaining. And that's all what this is. It's just entertainment. And NASCAR's succeeded in that, especially through week one. We're going to discuss the F1 here in a second. We're just going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be back to discuss the news in F1. We're back here discussing F1 news. We just talked about the Daytona 500, and now we're going to see what's happening in Formula E. Probably the big news, I guess, today. I mean, there's two things. McLaren released their new livery, their new car for the upcoming season. And then Red Bull and AlphaTauri announced that they are building Red Bull powertrains, where they're essentially just buying the Honda technology that they currently use, and will be developing it and making it their own after the 2024 season. So essentially, they'll be running with Honda after this. Next year will be the first year that it's not Honda, but it's technically Honda. It's Red Bull powertrain. So basically, it's just a Red Bull, and it's a Honda engine labeled as a Red Bull powertrain, Red Bull engine, if that makes sense. So I guess we'll start with there. So engine development will be frozen from 2022 onwards in a ruling on Friday. So we're not going to see much development in engines for the next few years. Really, next year, in 2022, there's going to be a bunch of new regulations that'll be happening within F1. We'll discuss a bit of that later on. But on Monday, Red Bull announced they'll be forming their own company, Red Bull Powertrains Limited, to continue using the Honda technology starting in 2025. And both Red Bull and their sister team, their development team, AlphaTauri, will be taking part in this. And the project will be at the Red Bull base in Milton Keynes, England, which is just outside London. So some interesting stuff with Red Bull and AlphaTauri. I feel like it's a great idea. I think people really like the Honda engines. Honda has been a nice partner for Red Bull and F1 to have. Hopefully it can keep Max Verstappen, who's the face of Red Bull Racing right now, but we'll see in a year or now how, with this upcoming season and how the team's looking and how the team is feeling. Christian Horner is a really great crew chief for Red Bull. So I hope he stays. I'd love to see him stay, but we'll see what happens. So that's kind of what's going on with Red Bull, AlphaTauri, and with Haas, which they finished 9th out of 10 teams last year. They were 9th in the constructor standings. Their new technical director, Simone Resta, will be 99% focused on the 2022 car, according to their crew chief, Gunnar Steiner, which will be interesting because I think he said about now he's like 80% focused on next year's car, again, with all the new regulations coming out and all the new things that we're going to see next year in Formula One. It kind of makes sense that the technical director is focusing quite a bit for next year instead of worrying about improving this year's car when we have a new car coming next year. Resta's the first technical director in Haas history. He was the head of chassis engineering at Ferrari, and then he left in December to take on this role with Haas. Haas has 4 offices, and I think access to the wind tunnel at the Maranello headquarters, which is where Ferrari is located. So Maranello is like the secret Ferrari track, and Haas being like a team with Ferrari. Haas has like offices there, and they can use their wind tunnel. I don't know if they can use their track, but essentially that's where Resta is working out of, is the Ferrari headquarters in Maranello, with working kind of in partnership with Ferrari, but mostly just doing Haas's dirty work. And of course, thanks to COVID-19 restrictions in the UK, where Haas decided to build their 2021 car, they won't be able to fire up their engines until preseason testing at Bahrain at Sakir, which begins March 12th. It's very late for that. Usually you start your engines rather sooner. Just to give you some context as to how late it really is, McLaren has already fired up their engines a month ago. Like they've already been testing, and they've already been working on their car. Now, obviously that's because they're switching from a Renault engine to a Mercedes engine, but they've already tested up and they've fired it up. I believe there's also been, whether it's due to COVID or whether it's just in general, new rules regarding how often you're allowed to test your car, how many hours you're allowed to spend in the wind tunnel, et cetera, et cetera. So that's impacted some teams this year. And again, Haas, they know they aren't going to be great this year. Probably will finish back in the pack, I'm guessing, in terms of constructors. Mick Schumacher is going to be really fucking fun to watch. And then, of course, Nikita Mazepin, who, God, I don't want to get into that now with Mazepin, but yeah, he's something. But yeah, so Haas won't be able to fire up their cars until March 12th preseason testing, which, the car is not going to be that different from last year, so it's not the end of the world. There's just a few changes that they're making. They're still with Ferrari's engine, of course, so they're not doing the same wholesale changes that McLaren is. And speaking of McLaren, they've unveiled the livery for the 2021 season, as I mentioned earlier. So they unveiled their car today. They kind of unveiled Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo, who are their drivers for the upcoming season. The power unit this year is a Mercedes-AMG M12E Performance, which is a change from the Renault E-Tech that they used last season. According to technical director James Key, back in about December end of last season, two areas that they want the MCL 35M to improve in is the low-speed cornering performance and wind sensitivity. So again, yeah, low-speed cornering performance, wind sensitivity, those were the two things that they wanted to see improved on this new MCL 35M. Mercedes has admitted that it has some issues with their engine due to restricted dynamometer uses. So it's kind of being worked on for this upcoming season. I believe there will only be one upgrade available. Excuse me. I believe there's only one upgrade available on the Mercedes engine this upcoming season. So something to keep an eye out there. I'm sure McLaren will want to upgrade it at some point. I don't know when or where, but there's one upgrade available on this year's Mercedes engine before they switch it next year. The overall vehicle weight is about 752 kilos on this year's car, which is 6 kilos heavier than last year. Compared to last season, I saw an overhead side-by-side from last year's car to this year's car. This car looks a little bit longer, has a bit of a wider floor, but also kind of narrows, or I don't know how to explain it. It's a wider floor, but it should be able to move air better to the outside. It should move air better compared to last year. Although I did hear that they have lost a bit of rear downforce on this year's car, and they're working on getting that back for next season. And if you haven't already, or you're interested more in the technical regulations of the car, check out Sam Collins's Twitter thread on a change McLaren has done, because it's outstanding. It's very well done. I'll share a link to it. It's an incredible thread, and it's an incredible feed on just all the changes that's being made, the comparison between the Mercedes engine and the Renault engine, and what McLaren has had to adjust because of that. So yeah, go take a look at that. I'll share that for everyone to see. That's pretty much the Ian McNaughton Show today. I just want to do a quick one on the racing news that's going on. No rugby news. Again, go check out the latest blog at speakyourpiece.ca on that. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the 16th, Scott Conkin and I will be recording a new Speak Your Piece podcast. That'll come out on Wednesday. We'll do Saturday selections again on Saturday. So we got some stuff coming up that you guys should be, paying attention to. And again, if you aren't already, follow us. Speak Your Piece on Instagram. Speak Your Piece. Speak Your Piece Racing. Speak YOUR Piece Racing. That's on Instagram. Speak Your Piece 3 on Twitter. Speakyourpiece.ca is our website. Go take a look at all that sort of stuff. It's going to be great. We got some great stuff coming up, especially with the new F1 season coming. The NASCAR season has been great so far, and hopefully that continues. So thank you very much all for listening. We hope you enjoy this podcast. Please tell your friends. And again, thank you for all your support. It's greatly appreciated, and I can't tell you how much it means to me to get all this support. So thank you again. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out.